There's a moment in life, and it doesn't come when you're looking for it. It shows up in the middle of something normal. Nothing big, just life. Maybe you're sitting there, scrolling through your phone, and you come across an old picture. Not even a special one. Just a random moment from years ago. And at first, you just look at it. But then you really look at it. You notice the people, you notice where you were, you notice who you were. And something feels off. Not wrong, just different. Because in your head, that moment doesn't feel that far away. It feels recent, like something that just happened not that long ago. And then your brain does something. It connects you to where you are right now. And suddenly, you start to feel the distance. And not just in time, but in life. And that's when it hits you. Not all at once. Enough to make you pause. How long ago was that? And when you realize the answer, that's the moment. That's the moment when time stops feeling abstract and starts feeling real. Welcome to the Skilli Show. Nobody really prepares you for this part of life. Growing up, time feels like something that you have control over, or at least something that you don't have to think about. Everything's based off later. I'll do it later. I've got plenty of time. And for a long stretch of your life, that belief actually works. Because when you're younger, time feels slow. Days feel long. Years feel stretched out. You're not measuring life. You're just living inside of it. But at some point, that feeling, it changes. And when it does, it catches you off guard. Because nothing external announces it. It's internal. And here's the part that most people don't understand about that shift. It's not triggered by one big moment. It's not like something happens that makes you start thinking differently. It's an accumulation of years stacking on years. Routines stacking on routines. Life just continuing to move forward. And your brain quietly keeping track of it in the background. And until one day, it starts to connect the dots. And when it does, you feel it. Because mentally, you still feel like yourself. You don't feel like a completely different person. But when you look at your life, you realize on how much it actually moved. And that gap between how you feel and how much has actually happened, that's where it hits. Think about this. You run into somebody you haven't seen in a long time. Not months, years. And at first, everything feels normal. You recognize them, they recognize you. You start talking. How you been? How's everything going? And then there's a moment. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You really look at them. And you notice something. They look older. Not in a bad way. Just different. And it catches you off guard. Because in your mind, they still look like the version you remembered. And then, almost immediately after that, it hits you. If they look different, so do you. And that's the part that sticks. Because in that moment, you're not just seeing them, you're seeing time. And here's the reason why that moment feels so strange. Your brain doesn't update people gradually. It stores strong versions of them. Snapshots. So when you see them again after years, your brain compares those snapshots instantly. Then versus now. And that gap you feel, that's your brain recognizing how much time has actually passed. And what makes that moment emotional? It isn't what you're seeing, it's what it represents. Because for the first time, you're not just aware of change, You're aware of that time creating change. And that's different because time is invisible until you see its effects. And when you finally notice those effects, it creates this strange mix of feelings. Not fear, not panic, but something deeper. It's awareness. And awareness always brings weight with it. And this is where your perspective starts to shift. Because you begin to understand about something that most people don't think about. You don't experience time while it's happening. You only recognize it after it's passed. That is why it feels like it goes fast. Because your brain compresses time into memories. It doesn't store every day, it stores moments. So when you look back, you're not seeing years. You're seeing highlights. And that makes things feel shorter than it actually was. And once that realization starts to settle in, that's when the questions begin. Not surface questions, but real ones. How much time has actually passed? What have I been doing with it? Am I where I thought I'd be? Am I even on the path that I thought I'd be on? And sometimes those answers, they don't land easy, but they're honest. And honesty is what creates awareness. And this is where most people misread that moment. They think it's negative. They think it's something to avoid, but it's not. That moment is awareness. And awareness is what creates change. Because once you see something clearly, you can't ignore it anymore. Time didn't speed up. Your awareness did. And once you become aware of it, you stop treating time like it's unlimited. And you start realizing it's something that you're actually actively using, whether you think about it or not. So think about your own life for a second. When was that moment for you? When did time stop feeling abstract and start feeling real? Was it something small, something that you almost didn't even notice? Or was it something that hit you a little harder? Either way, you've had it. Everyone has. That quiet realization or that something shifts inside of you. Because once you start to understand time, you stop assuming you have it and you start deciding how to use it. And eventually, you land on a question, not a philosophical one, a real one. What do you do with the time that you still have? And that's what we're going to explore in the next episode. But for now, I want to leave you with this. The moment that time becomes real is the moment that life becomes intentional. Thank you for listening to the Skilli Show. And remember, understand what you feel, and everything else starts to make sense. And we'll see you on the next episode.